Hello, welcome to Meals with Maria. Today we're going to talk about refried beans because I feel like everyone has at least a can of these in their pantry. And like, what am I going to make out of those? A lot of times I just add them to my ground beef or ground turkey for tacos, which is great. But in this case, I'm thinking, what other kind of recipes can we make with our refried beans? So I have 3 awesome recipes for you today, something for breakfast and 2 lunch or dinner options, and they all turned out great. So I'm excited to share some new ideas and new twists on cheap old refried beans that you can pull from your pantry. Great thing about these meals is that they are also pantry meals. So many of the things that you're gonna find in these recipes, you can pull out of what you already have. I was able to make this entire video without going to the store and going shopping for anything specific. I just had my refried beans and I filled in around that and made some great stuff. So I hope you enjoy them. We're gonna start off with a recipe for Huevos Rancheros. Now this is a great way to use some refried beans, and it's also a fun way to make breakfast a little bit different, maybe on a Sunday or a Saturday morning, and spice things up for your family. I usually have corn tortillas on hand and some refried beans, so this is super easy. Start off by adding a little bit of olive oil to a pan over medium-high heat. And then for my refried beans, I'm just gonna throw those in the microwave. I am cooking for 1 this morning, so I have about a 1/4 cup, but you could use an entire can and probably get enough for a family of 4. You wanna cook your tortillas over that medium-high heat for about 1 to 2 minutes per side until they're a little bit lightly browned, maybe even a little puffy, but you wanna make sure that they're not crispy. The oil did spatter quite a bit, so if you have a spatter guard, go ahead and add that. You want to remove your tortillas from the pan and put those right on your plate. You can do a few more batches if you're making for more. To cook the eggs, add a splash more of oil to the pan, and then usually about 2 at a time because you really want to get these cooked correctly. You're going to try and do a sunny side up egg, so we're not going to flip the egg. And mine turned out okay. I've definitely done them better in the past. I think it's all about watching them and the timing on this. You can very easily just go for an over easy egg, or you can even do scrambled eggs over this and it's still delicious. So whatever your favorite type of egg is, go ahead and do that, or you can go ahead and give the sunny side up a try. I've also done a really good sunny side up egg with a bunch of water in the bottom of the pan. So if I were to do it next time, I might actually just do water instead of the oil. In order to cook these through, I am kind of like piercing the whites, and it does seem to help cook them through. And you don't want to cook it on too high of heat. So the recipe itself didn't say to turn down the heat, but I would turn it down to a lower temperature just so that you're not burning the bottom of the eggs. Now I was struggling to get the top of the eggs to set, so I did put a cover over the top of the pan, and this will cook the eggs. However, I left my cover on just a little bit too long because in the meantime I was putting my refried beans over my corn tortillas and my eggs just overcooked slightly. To assemble the Huevos Rancheros, go ahead and take your heated up refried beans, however you chose to heat those, and put those right over your tortillas. Now the recipe that you'll find in the description box is awesome because it actually does have a homemade refried bean recipe. So if you just have pinto beans, go ahead and use those canned pinto beans and make a delicious refried bean according to that recipe. I haven't tried it, but I guarantee it'll be good because it has all of the ingredients for a delicious refried bean. Now if you have some queso fresco on hand, go ahead and put this over your refried beans. I did not, so I'm just using a shredded cheddar. That's kind of how we do around here, just whatever I have on hand. I don't necessarily like to go out and buy things specifically for a recipe if it's not on sale. And then you see my eggs, I'm plopping right over the top. You see how the tops of the eggs got a little bit cooked? Inside, they're actually cooked perfectly, but I would like to see that orange top to the egg, but oh well, it's real life, and that's how we're doing. I'm not gonna cook more eggs just because they're not perfectly orange on top. The recipe also has an amazing fresh pico de gallo recipe that sounds so delicious, but timing was not on my side this particular morning, so we were going with our store-bought salsa. But overall, this was absolutely delicious, something funky and something new, and a great way to use refried beans. Another welcome addition to this recipe is some fresh cilantro, maybe some sliced scallions, or some sour cream. All of those things would taste absolutely delicious with this dish. Welcome back to the frying pan. The next recipe is going to be a refried bean quesadilla. Now, if you followed my channel, you know that my husband believes that quesadilla is the perfect food, so we're going to make him a quesadilla for lunch with some refried beans. Start with the oil of your choice. Today I'm using a cooking spray, but a lot of times I do like to use a butter for this. I'm using dollar store tortillas, about a 1/4 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, and a 1/4 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. Add about 1/3 cup of refried beans on top of the cheese, and do the best you can with this. I initially went into it thinking, oh, we'll just be able to spread it on top. Well, with the cheese before it's melted, it's a little bit more difficult, but it's totally fine. You don't really want to wait until the cheese is melted because then the quesadilla will take too long and the refried beans won't heat up with the cheese. Think of it like a lasagna. When you're spreading the lasagna, you think, okay, the ricotta is going to go perfectly on top of the red sauce, and it never does, and that's totally fine. Next, add about a 1/4 cup of corn on top of your refried beans. The recipe also calls for about an ounce of feta cheese, which I didn't have, so I didn't add, but I do think that would taste absolutely delicious, kind of like that bitter flavor against the refried beans. So if you do have feta cheese, go ahead and add that now. Now this quesadilla is absolutely fine on its own without an additional protein, but I did happen to have some chopped chicken, so I decided to add that. You could go with some ground hamburger meat, you could go with some shaved steak, you can probably put any sort of protein that you like in here, even add some black beans. And then the recipe has you add some crushed up tortilla chips, which I didn't have. So I grabbed some taco shells and broke those up, and it tasted absolutely fine with those in it. Kind of like makes it that Taco Bell crunch wrap type thing. I don't know. I've never put those into a quesadilla before, but what a great idea. And then I'm just going to top it off with about a little less than a 1/4 cup of cheddar cheese and mozzarella again. And then because there was so much on this quesadilla, I decided to put a cover on the pan and let it cook for a little bit so that that cheese could melt before I put the top on the quesadilla. If I didn't say this before, you do want to be cooking this over a medium-low heat so that your tortilla can cook for a long time without burning. Now, with all the hubbub, I completely forgot to get a video of the quesadilla on a plate, but this is basically what it looks like. It tastes amazing. My husband loved it, and I will definitely be using a recipe similar to this. And hey, if I have some feta cheese, now I want to go in and make this quesadilla another time, but go ahead and add those refried beans. You can make a quesadilla with plain refried beans, or you can add them to one with a protein, and you're going to be in great shape. It's a great way to use them up. This next recipe is for a refried beans rice skillet. I was very excited about this one, and rightfully so, because it was delicious. You want to heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a skillet over medium-high heat. And then the recipe actually calls for a couple links of sausage sliced up, and you're going to brown those links of sausage and also cook your rice stirring for about 3 to 4 minutes until your rice is opaque. I didn't have sausage on hand, so I didn't end up adding an extra protein to this, but I think that you could use like a kielbasa, already pre-cooked sausage. You could use like a pork sausage. You might want to cook that ahead of time though. Same thing with ground beef or ground turkey. You could add really any meat to this that you would like, or even the addition of black beans, similar to your quesadilla. I think all of those things would be perfectly fine. Or even chopped chicken, forgot to mention that. Once your rice is about opaque, add 1 teaspoon of ground cumin and 2 cloves of crushed garlic. I decided to do like a minced, and it still turned out absolutely awesome. If you don't have fresh garlic, I think you can use garlic powder in this, no problem. Stir those ingredients and cook for about 1 minute until fragrant. Now you want to add in 1 can of diced tomatoes undrained, and I used fire roasted because they are so delicious. So if you have them, use them. If not, totally fine too. Then you want to add in 1 can of corn drained. I happen to have leftovers from the quesadilla actually, and it was almost a quick can, so I thought, hey, that's perfect. Let's not open a new can just for this. And then 2 cups of water. You want to bring that to a boil and then cover it and reduce your heat to medium-low. And we're going to simmer for about 15 minutes. At the 15-minute mark, we are finally going to add our refried beans. Yes, I would know you were wondering, is this even really a refried beans dish? Well, it sure is. So you just want to stir everything around a little bit, and I could tell everything was getting really well cooked, and this looked delicious and smelled amazing. It's that garlic and cumin, I swear. It is a fantastic scent. Just cook up some garlic and cumin on your stove, and the kids and your husband will come running, I promise. Or, you know, whoever else lives in your household. So along with those refried beans, we are going to add in about a half a can of salsa. So I just had one in my fridge. I was like, this is perfect. Don't even have to open a new can. Don't even have to buy a new can. This recipe is going to be a staple because it's fantastic, and I didn't have to even get anything special for it. Like, these are things that I always have on hand. So it was super easy and super delicious. This is gonna be a great weeknight meal addition for us. You want to mix everything until well combined and then cover and cook for another 5 minutes until your rice is fully cooked through. Uncover, go ahead and mix it around a little bit, and you can top this with your favorite cheese. I'm using a shredded cheddar. Also slicing up some scallions with some kitchen scissors, and if you have cilantro, go ahead and add that too. This is fantastic as a main dish or as a side dish. It would go great with tacos. So either add a meat to it or serve it on the side, or as it is, it's totally fine filling dinner. Serve it with some sour cream if you want, and it's so fantastic. Like I said, this is being added to our regular rotation. I hope this video gave you some great ideas to use your refried beans with and save you some money and cook right out of your pantry and your cabinets. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you all so very much. Make sure to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. I make lots of rice and beans videos, lots of budget meals, extreme grocery budget challenges, all of that fun stuff, and I'm posting 3 times a week. So subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the fun, and I'll see you all very soon.